Good morning, everyone. This is Vintage Shabby Goodness, and my name is Patty. I am here with a tall, skinny journal that I just completed for Doreen Denver at Oohlala Vintage Treasures. That is her Etsy shop. So the name of this kit is French Bliss Boutique Kit, Tall and Skinny Ephemera Lovely Ladies. And I call it Alexandria. So it's a mouthful and it's a journal full. It's just a very beautiful kit once again. So, and I'm going to have problems keeping it in view. I'm going to try real hard. So you be sure to see everything. But sometimes it's hard when they're so big. Then this is the spine. I just took some fibers and tried to make a bow. It's kind of a floppy bow, but it's there. Then put a little pearl with rhinestones in it. Then the back. This would be Crafting Me Shop laces here. My other laces, a lot of my laces are from Lavish laces, and that's Jaizella. And let's see. Then here's the gator mouth, of course, and all the laces. Most of all of these laces is going to be vintage. Not all, but most of them will be. And this is some chiffon that I just used to tie. I put a eyelet in there to run it through. Oh, and the face, it's just so pretty. This is a flower that I had made, and the trim, the pretty angel that is from the kit, the ephemera, a big cluster of pearls. We've got to have our pearls, especially with our ladies, and just some little roses, just to add a bunch of in. I didn't want to overdo the top because I didn't want to take away from this beautiful lady, so I kept it kind of simple. And I like it. I hope you all do too. Okay, let's go inside. Let it all fall apart here. Okay, so we open it up and we got several layers of trim there, of lace. And let me move this over a little bit. Hopefully it's going to be all in there. This is just from folding over. It's like I don't know, a doily or centerpiece, part of a pillowcase. And I just folded it over and just used it to make a pocket. And this is the papers are going to be from the French Bliss Boutique Kits. And this here is it's like a little coin pocket. But I just made this bow with a little bit of trim in there. Added this rosette. And I did Velcro it. And inside I put this lovely lady. And I kind of dressed her up. It was chilly out, so this is her throw. It almost looks kind of like a wedding bell, doesn't it? That wasn't my intentions, but yeah, she wanted to cover up a little bit more. So that's her. Pretty. These ladies are just gorgeous. It just tucks into there, like so. And then here is a vintage handkerchief. And I had planned to hoard it, but evidently I forgot. Because this is just absolutely gorgeous. And it is a little fragile. I mean, it is vintage. So, isn't it just beautiful? Okay, I can ooh and all over that all day, along with Doreen's kits. Okay, then the second page here is I just made a little tuck with the suitcases and the hats and like that. And just put this guest check in there. Put a little bit of vintage lace there and tied some some netting with some dots on it. It just tucks right in there. And then this beautiful rosette background. Vintage lace. And then on this page, this is Romantic Ruffles Dress Shop. And this is what I used to put in that pocket. And she has got the ruffles, doesn't she? Isn't that just pretty? Along with her clutch, I added her, I think she needed to hold the clutch. Then I stickled some flowers there. Added this bow and this vintage trim here, along with a little sparkly trim with it. So there's that tag. And then I made a tuck up here with a bow from the ephemera kit, part of the kit. Added this guest check here and added a little vintage ribbon here along with a little white rose flower. It just tucks right up there like that. This tag kind of holds it in there. And then we got a little bit of trim just right here. Just don't like to leave things uncovered too much. But these kits, except for this kind of paper, that I like to show it. It's beautiful. And these papers here are going to be coffee dyed. There is a cinnamon, little hint of cinnamon in the dye. Here's some vintage trim and some little sequin dots there. And down here I have a little dangle that I made. And then I'm not sure if I showed you this dangle or not. You've probably seen it dangling around, but yes, I made that and added that onto there. And here I cut out this frame. It's very fragile, very delicate. And I I put resin on it to strengthen it. And then I also put chunky glass glitter on it. And then this was another frame that I had that I used in the background of it and just kind of framed in this beautiful lady here. I did put some stickles on her necklace and earring. I put an invitation to the party in her hands. And that's about it. I didn't have to do much to her. As you can see, she is just beautiful. But she is a pocket. And I did stick this in there with some chocolate trim. Just slides right back in there. Okay. So some more of that beautiful kit. These are big kits. If you go over there and check it out, there will be several pages to go with this kit. But I made a bow out of lace and then added that trim there. Then here's a little pocket type thing, a little envelope. You just open it up like so. And then I put a couple of little pretties in there. See, I think that's a cake shop with a little angel in there. And then this is, looks like a hat box shop. I had it upside down. So, okay, and then you just fold it back down and maybe. And then I added this little tag here to tuck that envelope in. And here's some vintage trim here. Okay, on this page, this folded over. And actually, I kind of did a boo-boo because these are printed, and I don't like covering Doreen's papers for digital. But I had already glued it down, and I thought, well, this is a trim off of the kit that I put on there. And I added this with a tag with a rosette and some lace. That's the dress shop. I put it in upside down to make sure that the rose doesn't interfere with the pocket. But so since I put it on wrong, I, tied it into the book, and I didn't mean to. I just made a tag out of it, and I added this, or a pocket, not a tag. I made a tag for the pocket. So, added a couple of beaded dangles. And I decided to go ahead and just leave this all open so a person can write on it. But this is a picture window to a dress shop. So, or a coffee room. Might be the coffee room in there. It's kind of, with my eyes the way they are, I'm not too sure. But then I made this little flower here. This puts a velvet bow on it. Added this trim here. Left this blank for you to journal on. And here is a little bag that I had put, the digital, cut it out and put it onto this bag. And this says, Once Upon a Ruffle Boutique. And so I put her in there. I really blinged her up. And then just added this guest check in there. And then it's clipped down. And you open it up. Oh, darn, did I not put something in there? Yes, I did. Here we go. It's just a tight fit. But yeah, I put a tag in there. And so I did not glue it down all the way. I left it open here so I could make another pocket and added this tag in there. It's called Rosettes and Roses Boutique. And I did sew around it. Some of these I sewed, some of them I didn't. I like to just do like a variety. Add that clip back on there. Okay. And then here is this beautiful lady. I've got her hidden behind a sheer where I added some trim there at the bottom and some pearls up here at the top with some pink flowers. And you can lift that up. And I made a frame for her. And I did do the resin and added the chunky glass glitter. And I just think she's just gorgeous. And lots of ruffles. And looks like I did make a pocket out of her. So there's the tag. I did cut out another rose and kind of tried to curl the edges here to keep the rose look, and just glued it on top of another rose to give it dimension. Then I have this other lady on the back side. I've got ladies throughout this whole book. I just love using the Victorian ladies. And on this page, I added some vintage trim, but I also added some pearls just to dangle from it, just to kind of change things up a little bit. So, isn't that pretty? I like it. Yeah, and I tried to add some pink dye along with the coffee, and I sort of just blobbed it on there. I tried to sop it up, but it dyes really quick. So there's some pretty bright pink on there, but I kind of like it. It goes with the journal pretty well, I think. And then here I just added a little corner pocket, put a guest check in it, some vintage trim, and then another pocket up here on top with a guest check. Added some blingy trim on there and some bling here. And then here's some ruffles. Isn't that pretty? And on this side, I just love this lace. And I do believe this is from Lavish Laces. So it is just gorgeous. But I just ruffled it all up and just glued it on a piece of paper. On coffee dye with a little bit of that pink. But I just thought, well, don't really want to do anything else to it. I mean, you could flip that open and write on it, and it's kind of hidden. So I think it's kind of cool. And then on this side here, this is an envelope that I've redone. I've coffee dyed it. Added this to the top along with some chocolate velvet ribbon. You can open it up. Then inside the envelope, there is a invoice. They're not going to be happy about this invoice. General Hardware Merchants. Put it in this way. Okay, then you can journal here. Fold it down so I can turn it. And then I, added some trim, some vintage trim along the edge here. And here's the flap of the envelope, and I just left this page alone. And then here, this is some vintage trim that I took off an old handkerchief. So the handkerchief part, it was pretty rugged, so I just cut the trim off and I added it to the journal. Here's a frame that I cut out, a butterfly that I made. I just used a punch to punch out this butterfly and put resin on it along with some glitter in it. And then I took my stickles and outlined it on the top butterfly and the bottom. And then this is the rose page. Then here's the other half of that gorgeous handkerchief. Ah, it's gorgeous. And see, this is in case I didn't mention it, this is a 2-signature journal. So I just added these rosettes down the center because there's always a big gap there. I probably could have added another signature, but I really didn't know. I hadn't really planned to add a second one, but I did. But this is another vintage handkerchief that is also very pretty. It does have a couple little stains on it, but that's due to it being old, vintage. So, then here's some beautiful papers, digital, and trim. And then on this page, here's another beautiful lady. And I kind of dressed her up a little bit. I put a hat on her. I put a bow with a veil from it, or a tail, I guess. And I put a purse in her hands. Then I put, this is, I believe, an applique off a, I think I got this off a wedding dress. And then I stamped on the pocket. And then the tag, I don't think I meant to leave that like that. I'm going to glue that down better. I made a little dangle and a little bow to put on there. I'll use this glue this time. See if I have better luck. Yep, I had it glued because there's my glue line. I'll wait to put the tag in it, let that glue get dry. And then I added the trim up here. That Lavish laces, gorgeous. And then on this side, this is a cabinet that the purses are displayed in. And so I just cut them apart and put this this little buckle on here. Kind of an overkill, but I thought it was kind of cool. You just open it up and there's more of the purses. Here's two gorgeous ladies. And then flip this up and there's some more purses on the inside. So and this is a glittery netting there, tulle. You put this down and this down. And I had to make this. I just took a charm with a bead and I just took a skewer and just cut a piece off and painted it with some gold paint to kind of match the outline of the cabinet there and put that in there. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then here is some more Lavish lace. I just made a pocket out of the lace and put in this tag. That pretty cute little angel. And I did take these wings and I used some Wink of Stella on it to make it glittery. I don't know if you can see it on there or not. But then I added this trim there at the top. I just put some netting underneath it. And it just tucks right back in there. So there's two layers of lace. This on the bottom and this on the top. And there's another beautiful lady. Her ruffles on her dress. I added a purse. I did add a pearl ring, a pearl necklace, and a pearl clip in her hair. And then, let's see, a little tiny pearl earring. Sometimes I like to dress them up, but on this kit with all the ladies in them, I just want y'all to see just how beautiful, the digital is with the clothing that they have on, the dresses. Just didn't want to cover all of them up. And some more vintage trim. The dangle I made for it. Then here is a lace pocket flower that I made. And I made a little booklet to go in it. You got quite a few little pages in there. There you have it. And then here's the dress shop. The ruffly dresses in it. I just added some lace there at the bottom, along with some pink stones. And I had folded this one over the suitcases and made a little pocket and added this to it. And here's the display of the handbags. Then I made a belly band out of this trim here. And I added this tag on it. I added a little angel, and I did raise her up to kind of, you know, have some different dimensions going on. That's a little flower I made. And that is an applique, and then some vintage trim at the top. It fits right in there like that. And then the coffee dyed papers, more trim with a vintage heart on it. Then I just made a little tuck out of this and added a dress in the display case. Some pearl dangles. Just made a little tuck out of that, and I did add some pearls down here at the bottom. Then this is made out of cupcake liners, and I just folded it up. Well, here, I got a paper clip on it. A little paper clip I made, but it's just folded in half. You could put a little tag in there. I'm surprised I didn't. I didn't leave any out, so I will add a tag in there. Now, you know, I'm not going to leave this. I might leave it in there, but I'll put a tag in there. And I just decorated this a little bit. Just clip it back on. There's the back side. Oh, this one I did. I added a tag on there. There we go. I thought I had added a tag. Then this is another paper sack. This one I left open and everything. And I cut out a hole and put one of the Oohlala Vintage Treasures paper in there to show through, because I just think it's so pretty. And I like the two colors, the pink and the natural color. I think they go very well together, complement each other. And of course, another lovely lady. And here I put some vintage trim and a flower at the bottom. And then here's the tag that's inside of the sack here. And this one is all glued down, so I didn't make a pocket out of it other than this top part. And then I believe this is the final page, and this is a glassine bag that I glued the sari silk down to the page, because this bag is a little bit bigger than the page itself, so I just didn't want her falling out. But I just put some rose trim around the edge and some flowers there, and I didn't realize that it covered up the lady, but I just thought this trim was so pretty, and I put it on there, and then I thought, why did I do that? Because it just covered her up, but I guess you just pull her out and you can look at her that way. Oh, sometimes I get ahead of myself, but I did kind of raise her up a little bit for dimension. Added some vintage lace, some bling here, and then I added this tag here, added the vintage trim here, and then added the windows, just because it fits. So you got 3 tags in this one. And then I'll tie her in a bit, but you just tie it back in. And then another beautiful page. And this is the handkerchief that you see on the front part. And then this back here, I did add a little dangle. And then here's this pocket here, and I went ahead and made a writing board. I put on here writing board, so you could, you know, if you're wanting to journal or anything, just, you know, put it behind your paper. That'll make it a little bit stiffer. You could write easier on there. So I put that back here. And that's it. So it's a pretty good sized journal. I hope you, oops, don't want to go that way, you want to go this way. I hope you all like it. She will be for sale, and I will put the information in the description area along with Doreen's Etsy and the name of the digital in the description area. So I'll put my information, so if you are interested in purchasing this journal, you can just shoot me an email. And that's it. So I hope you all have a great day. It's early, so it's not supposed to be too bad out here in the Midwest. So you all have a wonderful day. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy that family. See you all. Bye-bye.